Hey, this is Kate from Daily Tarot Girl, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. For this week's reading, I'm going to use a deck that I love to read with. It's the Modern Love Tarot by Ethony. And I have two things I want to tell you about before we get into today's reading. So the first thing is I am going to be teaching a free tarot workshop called 3 Secrets to Tarot Confidence. It's happening this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and there will be a replay if you can't make it there live. So I'm going to put the link to sign up below, and I hope you can make it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, the other thing I want to let you know about is that I have opened registration on my 4-week course called Reading Tarot for Others. I'm going to put the link to that course just below this video as well if you want to check that out. It's a 4-week course and it's going to be starting on May 3rd. And that's also going to be super fun, and I really hope that you can join me for that. So I'll put those links below if you're interested. Okay, let's start with the first card. So these 3 cards represent the week ahead, and this first card represents the beginning, so like Monday, Tuesday-ish of the upcoming week. And here we have the card that's on the cover of the box, which is the Lovers. And the Lovers is a major arcana card, so there's a certain kind of archetypal loom to this card. There's a certain kind of archetypal energy to the Lovers. And I'm struck by, as I look at this card, and this is interesting, so pay attention when you look at this card. What are you drawn to? What do you notice? Is there a particular symbol or aspect of this card that jumps out at you? I notice the snake wrapped around the 2 women on the card, and sometimes a snake can symbolize temptation. Sometimes it can symbolize renewal and kind of shedding an old skin. And I will warn you, my kitty Merlina has she's just joined us here. Hey, Merlina. She likes to be a part of things whenever I read the cards. Okay, so what was I saying? The snake, yeah, it can represent like renewal, kind of shedding your skin. It can represent infinity, like that symbol of the snake biting its own tail. I think we had that last week actually in our weekly reading. It can symbolize the goddess and feminine energy. There's a lot of things that it can represent, and in this particular card I don't see this snake as representing temptation. It actually feels kind of friendly. It feels like an ally in some ways, like a helping kind of spirit. Okay, but what does this card mean for us at the beginning of the week? I get a feeling of passion when I look at this card, and I feel like the beginning of the week is a good time to tap into your passion, that primal passion. Now, whether that is sexual passion towards a partner or just sexual passion in general, or whether it is just feeling passionate about a particular project or thing that you're focused on. But it feels like this energy of passion and connection is a kind of a fuel that you can tap into that is going to carry you through the week. And it will be interesting to see what other cards come up in this reading and how this card kind of fits with those other cards. So let's move on to the card for the middle of the week. Oh, and we have the Chariot, another major arcana card. So this is for Wednesday, Thursday-ish for next week, or the upcoming week. And the Chariot is all about moving forward. Now, what's interesting here is with the Lovers, we have the 2 figures, the 2 lovers, and then the Chariot, we have these 2 dogs. Now, I was reading with a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there would be, I think it's 2 sphinxes. Other decks will show 2 horses, but there's 2, here we have 2 dogs. And so there is this theme of 2. And what's interesting is when I was looking at the Lovers, an idea popped into my head and I didn't say it out loud. So now I'm going to say it out loud because it makes sense in light of the Chariot. Or maybe I should talk about the Chariot first. I mean, the Chariot is all about moving forward. And so I think that you might notice that momentum starts to pick up midweek for you. And maybe things that you were struggling with at the beginning of the week or last week, finally things start to change and move, and you feel a sense of momentum and moving forward. But the chariot asks us to pay attention to the two different aspects of self. We have, you could call this the shadow side or the subconscious. And then you could call this the light, the bright side, or the things that you're conscious of. So we all have kind of these two different aspects of self. The things that you maybe repress or keep hidden, or that you're not totally aware of, and then things that you are fully aware of. And if you're wanting to move forward, you kind of have to get your subconscious on board. I don't know if you've ever experienced trying to do something, like make something happen or achieve some kind of a goal or change a habit. And it's like, no matter how hard you try, you don't have any success. And it's probably because the subconscious side of you wanted something very different and you didn't get that subconscious part of you on board, perhaps. And so when I was looking at the Lovers, I was seeing these two people coming together, and it actually made me think of sort of the two different sides of yourself, and how sometimes we see certain aspects of ourself reflected in a partner, and this idea of needing to make peace with ourselves before we can be in a successful relationship. So that was kind of the little thing that kind of popped into my head when I was looking at the Lovers. So I feel like I'm rambling and none of this is really making sense. So let's turn over to the third card and see what card comes up. And then I'm hoping it's all going to come together. So let's look at this one. Okay. 7 of Swords. So this is for the end of the week. So kind of like Friday, Saturday, Sunday-ish. Now the 7 of Swords, and I love how it's depicted in this particular deck. The 7 of Swords can indicate a real need to be more authentic and true to yourself. And sometimes when we feel like we can't be honest or open or forthcoming with another person or in a situation, we will find ways to like be sneaky. So instead of just asking for what we need, we might try to get our needs met by lying or by being sneaky or underhanded, because we feel like we can't really get those needs met any other way. Instead of being honest in a situation, we might lie just to keep things running smoothly. Instead of saying exactly how we feel or bringing up something that bothers us, we might just keep it kind of suppressed and not bring it up, because we don't want to rock the boat or cause problems. And so with the 7 of Swords, we see this woman who's sneaking out the window. And it's like, whatever's happening inside, it's like she doesn't want to deal with it. She's like, I don't want to be here. But instead of just saying, I don't want to be here, I'm leaving, she's sneaking out the window. She's like, I'm going to sneak out. And so when the 7 of Swords comes up in a reading, it's saying, think about being, what would it take? What would it mean, or what would it look like for you to be a little more honest with yourself this week about what you're really wanting and what your needs are? And what would it look like if you were a little more honest and open and authentic with people in your life about those things? And I'm just trying to see how this ties in to the other stuff. I feel like what I just said about the 7 of Swords in many ways probably relates to relationships this week, because we have the Lovers. This is a big relationship card. And so I feel like there's a lot of themes going on with this reading. So we have this relationship that we have with others in our life this week. We also have the relationship to ourselves and our hidden kind of shadow self, and the relationship we have to ourselves in relation to success and moving forward. And then we have this piece here about being honest with ourselves, being honest with others, authenticity, feeling like we have a right to get our needs met or ask for what we need, all of that this feels like a challenge. This is the challenge of the week that's kind of posed. It's like, what would happen this week if you were honest or a little more authentic about what you're needing or wanting or what's bothering you when it comes to relationships or even just with the relationship you have with yourself as well. Okay, I'm noticing an interesting contrast between the chariot and the Seven of Swords. So with the chariot, there is this moving forward in a very bold and proud way. Whereas the Seven of Swords, I feel like this character is moving forward, but in kind of a sneaky way. Like she feels like she can't move forward in this bold, proud way like the woman in the chariot is doing. I'm not sure what that's about. But I do feel like there is this theme this week around moving forward. And I feel like these cards are presenting a choice to us. And what's interesting is the Lovers card is sometimes seen as a choice. And so I think that we have a choice this week. We can move forward with confidence in a bold way, like this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, in this very bold, confident kind of way. Or we can move forward like the lady in the Seven of Swords, like sneaking out the window. It's like either way you're going to move forward this week, but how do you want to do it? What choice are you going to make? And I think that's kind of an interesting group of cards and interesting messages that came through. And I'm just going to take one last look at these three cards and see if there's anything else I want to mention, but I think I've covered everything. So as always, I invite you to share what you're noticing on these cards. Do you have a take on these cards? What stands out to you and what messages do you get from these three cards? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. And don't forget to sign up for my free workshop. Come hang out with me on Tuesday night, or you can watch the replay if you can't be there live. I'm going to share my 3 favorite tips or techniques for reading with confidence, for feeling very relaxed and confident while reading. And I'm also going to teach you a fun way to connect the cards in a reading. And then I'll stick around for Q&A if you want to ask me questions. So I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching and have a good week.